Welcome back to another edition of AfterBuzz TV. We're going to be discussing the Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 3, Episode 3, and we're talking wedding bells, we're talking pool parties, where people actually jump in the pool. So you guys will want to tune in right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
You gotta get the best part of the song.
Yeah, no, you guys are definitely leaning with it.
Welcome back, guys. We are here with another episode of AfterBuzz TV. We're gonna be discussing Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 3, Episode 3. 3 is the magic number tonight, because there's three of us, too. I'm your boy, DJ Richie Skye. Who we got with us tonight?
With not so much rhythm, I'm Ronnie Jr. What's up, what's up?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nijeera Manal.
It's Ronnie with the rhythm. That's what it's gonna be by the end of this season.
Watch. No.
You're gonna be dancing on
We
this
got you.
table by the
Okay.
end of the season. Watch.
I've been known to do all of the things, but I always need some
Well,
alcoholic, this cup needs to be runneth over with said vodka, if that's gonna happen.
By the end of the
Corona.
season, y'all just watch.
I'm here for it if you guys help me. If you guys help me, I'm here for it. Okay, well then we're good.
We're gonna help you. The people out there are gonna help you. We got you. Now listen, what are we thinking about this episode in general?
Such an interesting episode. I'll say it was probably my favorite thus far.
Really?
Yes, I'm really starting to like Monique. I feel like she was.
Gasp. I mean, you guys said this before the show started, and I was just kind of like, now,
Have a new perspective. You
did
guys.
you, anybody who's been watching the past couple of episodes will know
That we weren't here for her,
they were not
We were
here for
not.
Monique.
but I'm starting to like her. How about you? Are you?
I think when we start talking about her party in natural Ronnie form, I'll have some stuff to say about her. I could tell you that, but let's table that, and that'll come. What I will say is, yes, she did have such a great episode, and the thing about it is, like, who's gonna knock those emotional moments? Us as viewers, like, we're going inside her husband's, her baby's father. They have got children together. This beautiful 40th birthday moment. All of his teammates are there. It made it almost impossible to not really want to like Monique a little bit more. With that said, did I love the episode better than the rest? I don't agree completely, Nigeria, about that. I thought episode 1 was strong. And last but not least, I think you guys would, just by knowing me, I think you guys would know that I liked the episode, but my biggest discouragement
There wasn't
was...
a lot of Giselle.
Come on now.
Oh Lord. Can I say
I knew you were gonna say that
About
because
Giselle?
there wasn't a lot of her in this episode.
I was just on the way here. I'm thinking about her, and I'm like, I like characteristics of, like, that she has. I like that she's the alpha female. I like that she exudes this sense of, like, power. However, I just feel like Giselle's a mean girl. I feel like she's like a villain.
No, don't see it. And by the way, well, tell me how in 1 second. But by the way,
Okay.
so, and I definitely don't entertain comments too much, but this one was worthy. Somebody goes, "Oh, he's gonna be biased of Giselle. If Monique did the same thing, he'd go hard for Giselle, but not for Monique." And I'm like, that's because Giselle's known Karen for this amount of time. You can't get into a relationship that lasts over 12 years. And yes, if Monique did the same thing, I would say, Monique, sit down, because you're not on the level to be. Not because of the show, but just in friendship category. So I thought it was funny that I was accused of being biased, which is so funny because I specifically went back. I think I told you guys this last week. I went back and watched season 1, episode 1 and 2 and 3 and all these things to justify, like, you know what? I really do stand by everything Giselle does. So anyways, I drew a line in the sand, baby. And
Listen, I feel like I like people who have a very distinct point of view. So that's my preference in life in general. So you stand by it. That's what I always say.
Right, and don't call me big boned. Call me fat. Have the galls.
Wait, somebody said that?
Yeah, but it means speak the words, baby.
Oh
No,
my
I'm kidding. I'm much cuter and nicer in my heart. I'm actually a really nice guy.
These comments are ruthless. It's probably run by somebody's fan page.
The shade.
Kidding.
Lord.
Just kidding. Okay, so what are your thoughts about Monique? I mean, not Monique, Giselle. Like, you were saying that you feel like she's a mean girl.
I do. I feel like she's a mean girl. I feel like she just strikes me as a little bitter. And that's my honest opinion.
Interesting.
That's very funny.
I can't change that. I mean, if she shows me another side, maybe, like Monique did. this past episode, then
Who is she treated bitter? I think if anything, she seems unbothered and just in her own lane. I don't know.
Okay, was it you that compared her to like the Tammy Roman mixed with Evan Lozada? Was it just physical or was
No,
it
it was more,
personality?
well, it
as
might have been a little bit physical and star power. I was saying that Giselle
because
from
they're all villains, all three.
yeah, I was just saying like Giselle strikes, she jumps off the page, like no
Okay.
matter
she does.
that kind of.
And
thing.
those
Okay.
two do jump off the page as well.
Exactly.
So I get the comparison.
Yeah.
I like this episode. I don't necessarily know, like you, if I liked it as much as some of the other episodes. But what I liked about it is probably going to be the opposite of what you guys
What
liked
is
about
it?
it. But we'll discuss that later. What I will say though is that I did feel like Giselle's presence was missed a lot later in the episode because we definitely saw her still at the beginning. We'll get to that in a second. But I felt like I hope that this doesn't continue all season. I kind of feel like Giselle is kind of playing a backseat role. Like, not really that, how there's that almost peacemaker role, but
Yeah.
not really a peacemaker
Because
you still
everyone
gotta
else's
cause a little
drama is
right. So everybody
kind of-
else's
yeah.
drama, I feel like, is kind of taking front and center, and she's just kind of throwing rocks in the pond, like
that's true.
making waves from afar. That's what I feel like.
I agree.
So she's like, I don't have a problem with it, but if you want my opinion, yeah,
Right,
that's-
I'll just throw a rock
Yeah.
in there. I'll wear a T-shirt with hashtags on it and then walk out so you guys see them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
we can foresee the Karen drama. We can foresee the Robyn drama. And
Right.
the whole Ashley and Candice stuff. I feel like there's some cattiness that's going on there. Coming from Ashley. But
well, you know what? I think we should dive right into it.
Let's go.
Let's start. I want to start with Karen because I really want to wrap up this whole press conference.
with the full fatigue and the
Listen,
Gucci
anytime
belt.
you're inviting us all to a restaurant, but we can't eat,
Okay.
nor can we really drink, this is not a good time.
that's why I said she was crazy as a soup sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
She's
And to be very honest with you, as I don't remember much about the ending of this press conference other than them asking if she was going to be indicted, and apparently not. And Ray is up in the air. She can't talk about it. And that was it. And hashtags on the way out.
Which goes off what I said last time, which was she didn't really want a conversation. She just needed her words to be given to them.
Exactly.
There
Her
was
audience.
that's all she wanted because she said they can't talk back. So
What was anything, do you guys think anything was accomplished at all with this press conference?
course
no, no, absolutely not.
well, I mean, it did make Karen reality TV gold. I'll say that. Karen, in my notch of like who's on top, like Karen still, like you
No, I
say,
agree.
soup sandwich and all, is that's what it
I'm
did.
wondering why she didn't come in like
Queen
some type
Karen.
of power suit, because like this whole camo onesie was not like, I was like so confused.
Because she was giving us body, honey.
Yeah, I was gonna
She
say.
was.
She was
I-
giving us body.
You know,
I'm not mad at it.
What ends every argument? That waistline, you know.
Okay, I mean, yeah, she was snatched, but it's kind of like,
All I was thinking was, what in the wig? But the
Ah!
it looked nice, you know?
Stop
so that's all that
it.
matters. Hey.
Oh,
okay,
no.
so let's take a quick poll since we're talking about Karen.
She said, "What in the wig?"
Hashtags, were they mean or were they in fun? Because
What-
this is apparently the source of, Karen's contempt on the way out.
I mean, if I had to judge it, Giselle poked fun a little bit
Yeah.
with the other comments, the other hashtags. But when you started going to tax reform, stuff of that nature, I just thought it was a little too much if
Yeah.
we're being critical. But the idea is that they're friends of all these years.
Yeah.
This is just, they can't seem to have a great conversation about it. It should be more in fun. But if I had to be critical on Giselle, I would say maybe free the Hugards would have been cool. Like one
Right,
little comment.
right, yeah.
But the two, I think there was about 3 or 4
Yeah, there
hashtags.
was like 3 on the back.
That may have been a little much.
It was corny and tacky. I'm
Oh
sorry.
my! You really are starting to not like Giselle.
No,
What is-
it's not even that. It's just I was like, is she kidding me? Okay, yeah, it wasn't funny. I
But
didn't
you
even
started
chuckle.
so strong by liking her at the beginning of the season.
No,
The tide has turned.
Oh.
I'm just super blunt, you guys.
No, I love it. I'm here for it. That's what this show is all about. So more of it. In terms of Karen's dramatic exit, because that's what it was. Listen, did you think they should have? I feel like they were trying to smooth things over, with this whole run up to the car situation.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because for whatever reason, I don't really feel like they thought that she should have taken any of that personally.
Agreed.
And I'm not quite sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it though.
well, I guess it means like,
I'm on the fence.
What do you mean? Like,
I'm
what?
on the fence because I feel like to a certain degree, tax issues are crazy.
Okay.
Oh, you said that
but
last week, yeah.
they are common.
Yeah.
So given that they are crazy because you have to deal with it, But given how common they are, it's kind of like everybody's got tax issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, is there really like, I don't think he's going to jail.
No, I don't think so either.
You know, so I don't know how severe this is. But apparently Raven believes it's very severe because, you know, during their whole facial and spa moment, you know, that to me was kind of heartbreaking to see her kind of break down like that because she just looked, you know, just so like a deer caught in headlights.
Yeah. And it seemed like she felt a little helpless. Like, yeah, she wanted to help, but what can she really do? So.
Oh, the daughter being helpless? Yeah, and that's because that's not Ray's daughter, correct?
That's a good question.
Because
I thought it was.
I thought it was.
Oh, I thought
I thought she looked like him.
Oh, the son is not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's we're just trying to ask.
Yeah, no. I think that I think it's the son.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that, but either way, Ray's been in their lives, and either way, their structure has been there, and either way, it's like, you know, you are this family, this unit, you know, all of these things that she represented in Potomac, and not only are things being broken down, but you know, your daughter is living her best life, and your son too. So really, to have Karen be honest and vulnerable in that situation, I agree with both of you that
it creates a sense of you know, security is one thing that we all need. And when you're young, you're out living your life, and then you hear about these problems that are coming from nowhere. You feel overwhelmed by them. It's just like, well, this is what you guys are really going through, and then your security is threatened at that point to some extent, maybe subconsciously.
Yeah, and she said, and Karen said the best thing that resonated with me is like, with all that is going on in my life, it's good to just take my mind off it for a little bit. I thought that was like the key point of that.
Yeah. I totally agree about that. Just a really quick announcement, because while we're talking about getting our lives together, I think that we have a great, fun new podcast that we can talk about, and that's Conversations with Maria Menounos.
Yeah, you guys all know AfterBuzz TV is here, and it's created, and it is for the viewers. That's why we chat and joke with you a little bit too. But the main component of that is Maria Menounos, TV reporter, legend, has created AfterBuzz along with Keven Undergaro. In fact, they were doing an AfterBuzz here in the studio, this exact studio yesterday for the TV show Billions. So it's such a big family. We want to do our justice to kind of say, hey, why don't you guys check out Maria Menounos' podcast? So what it is the Sirius XM show is called Conversations with Maria Menounos, and it's very educational. All of the things that are going to help your life get better, and they hit every topic, believe me. On Fridays, though, what they're doing is condensing some of the greatest of the content and putting it as a free podcast of the same name, and that'll be downloadable on iTunes, and comment on iTunes and weigh in and give your opinion. Yeah. So super strong podcast. If we watch this show and it's like, why did Ashley do this? Or Giselle's messy here. So it's a lot of like, when you guys watch our show, though we're fun, it's a lot of like craziness, right? Conversation with Maria Menounos is sort of the opposite of that, and it's very like peaceful, and it'll help you connect to your soul. So, some great stuff on employment, some great stuff on pets and home ownership, all kinds of really cool things. I could go on and on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you guys make sure to check that out. Get some good advice there. You know who else is dispensing out advice at this point in time, and that's Michael. What do you guys think about Michael giving financial advice offering financial services or advice to Ray and Karen?
Well, didn't Karen?
Because he's rich.
Didn't Karen say you're overstepping?
Did she say it in her confessional? Or did she say it into his face?
I think it was confessional. Yeah. I think her eyes said it. She gave him the look.
Because he was pretty insistent.
He doesn't read the room very well sometimes.
I agree. Yeah.
That is a very good way to put that.
He doesn't. Yeah.
Awesome.
I sometimes think Ashley doesn't either.
Oh, absolutely not.
So it seems like we're with Ashley this whole season. I like what they're doing with the storylines, because I feel like some of them we're getting like, they're like onions. Yeah. And I feel like we're pulling back layers on this whole situation with Ashley every week.
Absolutely.
So apparently, you know, there's this person that's in her mother's life who we've not yet seen, the shadowy figure who they just keep referring to. Yeah. We will call him Voldemort, because we've never seen him, and she's making him seem like this just really bad character.
Influence. Yeah, totally.
So I want to know more about who this is.
Do you really?
I'm very curious.
I do.
I am very curious.
I do. I just want to know who the shadowy figure is.
Yeah.
Who's the big bad?
I don't know. Okay, go.
I'm very curious to know who this guy is. I'm very curious because, yeah.
Okay, I guess what I was trying to say, I know I stuttered there for a second. I wonder if he is actually a deadbeat like Ashley is insinuating, what will that... Okay, so the only goal that we have here is to have her be on her own. This is what Ashley wants, and this is what Michael wants. What will happen if he is actually a deadbeat and we do give him some television attention? Like, can that get a little out of hand and cause more of a conflict with her? If we're talking about the human, not the TV show, but the...
Right. I think you're correct about that, but I think that because it's a reality show, and
People live for that, unfortunately.
just from personal experience, I mean, the moment you talk about something on a reality show and you're talking to the cameras, you almost have an obligation, I think, to close the loop on that throughout the season.
So she brought it up, so therefore
we're
curious to know who.
So now I want to know who it is. I want to know, because you're right, he could be a deadbeat, or he could just be a manipulator.
I'm getting that too. Definitely getting a manipulator.
That's
Her
what I'm
mom
getting.
seems, in a lot of ways, for better words, maybe broken a little.
Yeah.
And she seems maybe like easily manipulated by, I guess, this
Love.
influence. Yeah, exactly. So.
And I want to know how, as Ashley was saying in the confessional, like she went from being, I guess, really a boss in some levels to completely destructed, and by way of it all being this man.
Exactly.
So there's a lot that needs to be said other than her few, when we see the mother, we see just like a tiny glimpse of her, and it's usually not in the best light, you know. There's a story there. You guys are right. I just hope it works out well. But also to your other point, it's like with the Kenya thing, people hated that Kenya and Mark Daly wasn't shown. People hate the idea of these reality shows getting a nugget but not getting the payoff. So
yeah, because
you put your life out there, so
particularly even in Kenya's situation, I mean, love her or hate her, she was always very much like, she always had a lot of commentary about other people's marriages. Yeah. And just similarly, Ashley always has a lot of commentary about other people's families and relationships.
Especially Robyn.
So it's interesting to me that there's this whole thing playing out that, I think up until now, we never knew anything about. I mean, we knew that she was taking care of her mom to a certain degree, but we just didn't know all of this.
It's a lot of mess unfolding, and it looks like it's going to show that her stuff is just out of control. That's what it looks like. It's coming there. There's the situation with Michael, and then there's the mom, and then there's this mystery guy that we're just learning about, and it's like, Voldemort, who is this guy?
There you go.
Like, what is he? Like, it's so many different things to this story that makes this big disaster.
True.
Well, Ashley is low-key messy anyway.
She is, and I saw that. I saw that on this episode. I don't like how she keeps shading.
Candice,
what is that about?
I don't know, and
it just keeps coming out. It's like a competitive, like.
I have a question, and maybe if y'all don't know, the viewing audience or the listening audience
Somebody knows.
I've heard of Miss America.
Oh Lord, yeah.
And what was Kenya Moore?
USA, right?
She was Miss USA.
Miss USA.
Yeah, she was the top.
So, I was mistakenly thinking that Miss United States.
Me too. Was what Candice
was the same as Miss USA, because
Wait a
I'm
minute.
just thinking it's Miss.
Me too.
It's United States, USA. But apparently that's not the case based on what we were gleaning here from Ashley.
Yeah.
Is that
So then that would, if in that thought process, that would make what Ashley say not that much of a jab. Because
But
if
it is
it's,
a jab.
But it is a jab.
Wait, is it though? If everyone puts, not the people that like Kenya.
We know she, honey.
Wait,
Well, we're saying that, like, okay, so if Miss United, if there's Miss America,
oh God, this is bad.
and then there's Miss USA, or I mean, I don't know where they might be on the same plane, and then there's Miss United States. I feel like that's what Ashley was digging
So
at.
my question is that part shady, because like what? Okay, so let's say I talk to somebody and I said, hey, this is my friend Kenya. She was Miss USA. I would say that it would be unfair for the people who you're giving this presentation to say, oh, this is my other friend, Miss United States, and for them to falsely think that she's of Kenya's caliber. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not coming after
It was shade. Because
But
here's
see,
the thing.
it's
She
the
didn't-
caliber distinction that's
Exactly.
where the shade lies.
And she wasn't
I
informative
felt like it was
enough.
more justified.
No, she
I
wasn't
felt like
informative. She didn't explain.
But see,
exactly.
that's that level of shade that when you go back later, you can say, "Oh no, I was just explaining myself."
That's Ashley
No,
shade.
that's what I'm saying.
I didn't
you
know.
guys.
You didn't.
Am I
you didn't
the
think it
one?
was shady?
I think it was a
Ashley
smidge shady, but I'm saying it wasn't like a out of pocket where she jumped to create something to tear her down. Because if you've got Miss America and you got Miss USA and then you got Candice, who really is just basically mistaken.
Terrible.
Even when you explain it, it sounds funny.
It does, yeah.
How? What happened? I'm over. The case closed. I mean, Candice is.
Okay, so let's put it to a vote, because we love our interactivity with
No, we
with
don't.
everyone.
Not when
We
I'm,
do.
not when I'm wrong, though.
There's no wrong. There's interpretation.
Candice is called.
Exactly.
Candice's degree is mistaken. She's mistaken. That's the title she won. She's not Miss anything. Miss
Oh, Lord.
mistaken.
That was shade.
No, that was
That
shade.
was shade.
I had to let it out. Sorry.
Viewing and listening audience out there, do you guys think that Ashley was being shady with her title clarification? That's what we want to know. So put that in the comments and we'll get back to that later.
The comments are gonna say, "Yes, Richie and Nijeera, we feel you. We feel you.
Because she was.
Well, I feel you too. Okay."
And then she
She
made like a
was shady.
swimsuit reference. Do you guys remember that part?
She did say something about the
what?
whole swimsuit reference.
Well, she didn't win. Yeah, something like that.
But I believe that even when I was reading the blogs, because I'm low-key obsessed, Candice called her a clapper. She called Ashley a clapper, and she said to look it up if you're in the pageant world. I believe it was shade. I didn't look it up, so I'm gonna be on the hunt for that because I believe that was some form of shade, and I just gotta figure out what it means. So more on that.
And by the way, Candice is still hitting home runs. Like every ounce of her appearance has been strong.
Well, let's
I
talk
agree.
about her. Let's talk about her because she had a pretty for her second episode. She had a pretty big episode this week.
That's true. Yeah.
She did. I mean, she had a pretty good
Wedding and yeah.
mom.
Yep.
What do we think about the mom?
Oh, that was beautiful.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overbearing.
Overbearing, yeah. That's, absolutely.
I know,
Absolutely.
but it's mom. I was down with it, and it was a nice moment though.
Her
just
mom
in
was
general.
cracking me up. Oh no, I don't like that dress. I like that one.
No,
Mom,
want
are
this
you
one.
going to wear it? What? But yeah.
It was cute, and
It was cute.
the other daughter was just throwing mom shade left and right.
Yeah, she was. She sure was.
And also credit to Candice because any dress she wore came alive. Like Candice's
Candice
look.
is
Both of
beautiful.
those dresses looked amazing.
They did.
If and
They
when she
did.
gets married in a year's time, she can wear any of those
Yeah.
dresses. You know,
I
is a date set or is it a low we're gonna maybe get married in a year? That's
I
I
my
don't
thought
question.
think
she
it
said
is.
a
Is it?
year, but I
Okay.
don't recall. And in my mind, as soon as she said it, I'm thinking, okay, this is probably gonna be next season. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Season 4 that we maybe see her actually tie the knot. Should she prove herself to be worthy of another season? Which I feel like she will.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
And what do you guys think about Chris? Do you still have the same opinion, or
That's a good, I was,
Haven't seen
I
too
was
much of
so
him yet.
about to go. Well, I feel like we saw a lot more of him than we bargained for in this episode.
because as we're talking about a date being set, I'm thinking about him, and I'm just like,
Okay, so this is why I said what I said in the intro about pool parties where people actually jump in the pool.
right.
Now, for most of y'all out there in the urban community, we'll go to a pool party and nobody will get in the pool.
I think that is so crazy.
No one
Why?
gets in the pool.
Why?
Unless you're in LA, typically, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I feel like it's a little bit more acceptable because the weather is, it's just a
And
different
it's a scene
vibe.
too, yeah.
You know what I'm
Bo-
saying?
body,
it's better
yeah.
to be in the pool, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But on the
with,
East Coast,
with drinks or something.
on
Yeah.
the East Coast, no, nobody's getting in the pool.
No, they don't.
Really. They're going to
We're
stand
both
around
from
the
the
pool.
East Coast. Yeah.
They're going to stand around the pool, but so in my mind, as we see him ripping off his clothes with cousin Hank, and diving off from the banister, I couldn't help but go back to what you were saying about him before. And I'm wondering, bro, would you really do that? The first time I'm invited to someone's
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
and I don't know you and I have a camera crew following me, am I jumping in the pool? I don't care how drunk I get.
No. It speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It
It
just
kind of
doesn't seem-
shows
does,
what
yeah.
else he might be capable of, right?
Well, it just seems like, bro, you don't boundaries. Etiquette.
Yeah, and that was a lane that he shouldn't have crossed. And here's the thing, because we had made a couple points before where I thought, or we all thought, or whatever, it was like, you know, she might be the spotlight, and sometimes a good relationship is one in the spotlight and then one sort of, you know, uplifting that person.
Right.
So to that way of thinking, I do think they work well, because she is, you know, the queen, and he kind of plays his position, and I think it's a good relationship. But then we can't continue that argument when we see what we saw at the thing. And it wasn't that he just went for the jumping off the pool, which was a little nuts. It was also that he had to quickly buddy with Hank. There's something he's grabbing, even if he's not vocalizing it. He's got agenda's not the word, but
there's something. It's lack of thought. It's something that's going like, I don't know what it is.
Lack of thought is terrible in men.
Huh?
That's a terrible thing for men to have, lack of thought. So.
Yeah, especially on a reality show. You know, here's the thing. You are a restaurant owner, so you hopefully have a prominent presence or name. You know, I would have assumed the person that you might have been connecting with might have been Michael, not necessarily because he's the other white guy, but because they are in the same industry.
The same industry, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt like maybe that would have been a
more
connection
sense.
there.
Absolutely.
But I'm not knocking that. What I am saying, though, is like you're hanging out with Cousin Hank. You should be hanging out with Chris.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That
Or Ray.
makes also really good sense, because the two wives get on.
Exactly. Like, but you're hanging out with Cousin Hank. Now, no offense to Cousin Hank, but he's not really a part of the cast. And so I'm just saying, be selective.
And another thing that adds to like what I'm seeing about his personality, didn't Candice let everyone know that she kind of pushed him to get the restaurant started?
Ooh.
You know what? You might be right about that, because
yeah,
it was
she
like
said that twice.
she's like, I come from an affluent neighborhood, or you know, the Huxtables.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I pushed him to. It wasn't what my mother would have wanted me to date.
Yeah.
But I elevated him, and it was funny because when she said the restaurant, and not that we needed to see it, but she just said the restaurant. There was no image. Then she goes, oh, but he also encouraged me and helped me with my hairline. So there was. Do we know what the restaurant is? Does it actually exist? I'm sure it does.
I feel like
Why would I say it? It sounds mean, because it really was.
I mean, you raised a valid point, because I think nowhere have we seen the restaurant yet.
We haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it yet. We see Oz every week.
Okay.
We see Emu every week, but we don't see. I've not yet seen his restaurant.
I am so curious about this restaurant.
You know,
guys.
so we've got some investigating to do, people. We've got some investigating to do. I just still think it was inappropriate for him to be, you know, stage diving off of the balcony and into the pool. I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe it was that type of party, but I didn't see anybody else in the pool.
Didn't see anyone else, yeah. Mm-mm.
So
it is not the thing you do when you're meeting a new group of friends. Let's
No.
say that.
It's not.
like, I just wanted to shake him.
Maybe it was a little lack of class. I don't know.
Like, or too much liquor, but I feel like that's just his personality, though.
Yeah.
Like, he seems like he just wants to, like, throw himself in these crazy positions.
I just wouldn't be surprised if he was already doing radio interviews in DC. Like, he's just... So if he's not gonna have the Mark Daly effect, like he's gonna be like, yes, oh, you want the camera to come talk to me? I just feel like he likes all this stuff. Maybe a little too much.
Kevin Federline or something.
Maybe that's all we're asking, or that's all we're seeing, but we could be wrong.
We'll see. we shall see, because initially I liked their relationship.
She's bomb. I love her.
I
though.
love her.
Oh, she's so
and
good.
I feel like as I see more of him, it's gonna be. I might have my mind change a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you know, on the flip side of that, we see a very solid couple, I think, in Monique and Chris.
Absolutely.
So this Chris seems he does the right things to me.
I love Chris. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
You know, he's a family man. He puts her first.
Yep.
He has a good relationship with his dad. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm assuming probably a good relationship with her family. You know, so I just feel like, you know,
he just seems like a good guy all around.
They're pretty awesome. Now, you guys were liking Monique a bit more this episode.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I saw another side of her. I feel like she's authentic. I saw that. And she's just not, I don't know. Monique I'm seeing more of her personality. And I just get a sense of authenticity from her now. And or at least I got that from this episode. I surely did.
What are your thoughts?
I'm not on the I like her now. Like that's not as God bless
He
Night.
needs to correct you, okay?
Thank you for clarifying.
Not only can I not win sometimes, but I can't
No.
dance in the opening sequence. Well, how about it? No, so I don't like love her,
Right.
but I do think, as I said a little bit ago, like this episode was so prominent. Here's what's weird to me. So I'm gonna open up my heart as a non-Monique fan for the most
Right.
part, but the viewers always want to say like, hey, give her a shot. So we want to give her a shot. I can't not be so proud and happy. She's living this beautiful thing where she takes care of her children and she stays busy and she's meeting new friends and the sisterhood and the great relationship. So I'm cool with that. And then and it was really fun to watch. This was a great episode for her. But then there's those little things where she just felt a little demanding with not only how she talked about what Chris was supposed to do with Chris's mother, but she felt demanding where she threw it to Ashley when Ashley's situation, though sounded similar, was totally not the same thing. And then the fight with Robyn, it's like for every step forward with Monique, I sort of take like a half step back, if that makes sense.
No, I actually agree with you, really, because I was trying to save Robyn for last because I feel like it was a really big episode for her. She had a bad day. Bad day. Well, that's what we'll call it. I love everything that she's doing with her family and all that stuff, and it's very easy to be happy for her and to root for her because I do feel like she's living a dream life. And I love that for her, particularly considering that, because I know some of the people that she knows, I know that, she's just been a hardworking girl and, she's happened to marry somebody that she fell in love with and who does treat her really well. Having said that, I felt like in her issue with Robyn, she was way more defensive than she needed to be because she asked Robyn what the issue was in her home. Robyn told her what the issue was. And versus saying, this could have gone a couple of ways. Yeah. It could have been like, you know what? I am so sorry for that. Let me go back and look. Because if I didn't know if I think maybe I did do it, let me go back and look. I'm going to go check on that. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't really refute this right now because otherwise I'm going to look crazy later, right? So I just felt like she got super defensive about it. Like, if you really didn't do it or if you didn't mean it or if you did do it, like, I just feel like she overreacted, I thought.
Yeah. And the argument could be like, oh, it wasn't the time or the place, but that could be.
She brought it up.
That could be for any, and if she brought it up, that could be for any time or place because sometimes we see really big moments. But I don't know, it just seemed like why was her energy there when it was her husband's 40th? And it also made her look bad amongst her crew, right? Because what she did, which was weird, I don't know why she did it. She like went back to Chris and yelled and oh, she this, she that. I don't know if Monique realizes that although they all love and support her, which they do, we see that, it doesn't make her look like a good party organizer, wife in the situation. It made her look worse. If
it did. To me, it made her look worse. Wow. Particularly when she came back to piggyback off of the whole situation with Ashley and Robyn, which we'll get to. But I just kind of felt like, leave it alone. Like, if you feel like you felt like you were attacked by Robyn, leave her alone. Like, you're just basically coming to join another argument because you needed some backup. Right. That's how it came across to me.
Yeah, and sometimes, what is it, the you poke the bear kind of a thing? Like,
she did poke it.
All of the hostility,
that is what you wanted that, right? It looked like your action said you wanted that.
You got what you asked for.
Right.
As an aside, Charisse was there in this episode as well.
No, I didn't notice.
Oh, how could you? All the shade and all the glory
and
all
she
the
even had a confessional.
Oh my goodness!
She looked amazing in, by the way.
I agree.
She looked amazing in her confessional.
Shady McGee over here hit us with that, which I can't with you right at this moment. But I, who don't particularly like the sha, I was decently into all of her.
I was too, actually.
Yes, the aside was amazing. She maintained her place. You know, she didn't overstep.
Yeah.
Could have maybe stepped in and helped Robyn a little bit more.
Could have, definitely.
But at the same time, she ain't getting the checks that these other women are getting, so I'm going to enjoy the party. Oh, I actually sound like her. She probably actually said that once.
Probably.
That felt really like out of
body. Let's jump back into Robyn just to talk about this whole situation with her and Juan, because this was a revelation to me that she was the one who had chosen to make that investment with their friend where they lost all their money. I thought it was him. So I was shocked by that. Did you guys know that beforehand?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I was
just the preview where she said she was sorry about something, but not what it was.
Yeah. So I think in seasons past,
I was surprised as well.
Just kind of looking at it, I was like, it must have been him.
But it makes sense because Juan, in my opinion, the little bit of time that he does talk and give his opinion, it seems like he's always kind of logical. Oh.
No, tell us.
Is there another? Well, when he's giving her advice, the little things that he does say,
those little nuggets are wise.
They are wise. They are.
I'm sure there's memes written everywhere about what Juan says.
You guys are just so shady
don't
tonight.
mention a meme to Robyn.
Oh yeah, should go all up in arms.
If there is a meme of Juan, it's all body. I will tell you that.
Oh, I'm sure. So sure.
Hello with the prince. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Just what is in my drink today?
I'm wondering the same thing.
What did you guys think of Ashley's bomb dropping with Robyn as well? Because
Overstepping boundaries.
She unleashed a whole lot.
I feel like she was overstepping her boundaries too much.
I felt like that was just nasty.
It was super nasty. It was entirely.
You can bring up something. It would have been wiser for her to bring that up in her confessional, because then it comes across like I'm telling you why I think this or what I've heard.
Yeah.
When you say it right then and there, you're basically telling her that, oh, well, I know that you weren't good enough. He went to go find somebody else, and then when that didn't work out, he came back to you. That's basically what she did.
So
she doesn't know her
your
place.
remark is with Ashley going at Robyn.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a rough one, you guys.
That was,
and I think Ashley covered it up. It's so weird. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry, my tone was wrong, but what I said was accurate." I was like, "Well, your tone wasn't even that bad. I was okay with your tone, but I didn't feel like it was
so
very
unapologetic about it.
It was horrible.
Well, it was so harsh. Yeah.
Yeah." And then it made me think. I felt bad for Robyn because, you know, like a Giselle, maybe a Monique, maybe even a Karen. We know Karen. Some of these women are great wordsmiths, and they will. If you come at me with this just goofy, you know, accusation, they'll find a way to throw it back. Robyn, I think what she does, for some reason, she's so kind-hearted. She tries to like really be authentic and wait, but this really happened. And you want to just like tell Robyn like. Maybe Shasha should have done that. You want to say like, no, Robyn, you don't justify yourself to them. Like you don't.
Right. I feel like she is. You are. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
I really feel like she's having authentic moments but I feel like when these women pull out their daggers with her, they are really personal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they're getting at her as a woman.
It's nasty. It's nasty.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not, oh, your hair is this, that, or the other. It's how you're living your life. And it's stuff that's so prominent that when she goes back in her house with that man that tonight, it could cause a problem. No wonder he doesn't like filming that much.
Exactly.
Outside of his wise words.
Listen, see?
That's why he didn't want to go to that party.
That's exactly why.
Really quickly, I just want to give you guys a little bit of news and gossip that I found,
right.
you know, doing my little research.
As the Maryland, you lived in the area, DC.
I did, but this is actually from their Bravo blogs.
Oh, okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So it was very interesting because I think what Bravo does now is instead of, you know, back in the day, the blogs used to be a free form for the women to just sort of write what they wanted to write. And then I think they were edited by Bravo at some point. But now they're more like questions by Bravo. And so one of the questions was, for Ashley, do you feel like you will be able to mend your relationship with Robyn Dixon? She says, looking back at that interaction between Robyn and me, I feel shameful for how I approached the situation. It was inappropriate for you to bring up their past issues in that manner. For that, I deeply apologize.
Wow.
So, conversely, they asked Robyn what she felt about Ashley. And they asked her if it would be possible to mend that relationship. And here's what Robyn said. "Oh no, there is not one iota of a chance that I even want to breathe the same air as Ashley ever again."
We can't blame her.
The reunion's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Okay, like
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see how they interact with each other throughout the rest of the season.
That was a rough one. I was gonna go another point off what
Go ahead.
Well, just how we were talking about Robyn, and you said how Ashley said things that went for the jugular. I think one thing that made Robyn really flustered in that situation is we've been seeing this new revival of energy. Like, me and Juan are back, and things are good. And I think when they talked about doing something with Juan and Giselle and Sherman, it almost felt like there was this reality of the relationship evolving. I do feel like she was so hurt when she found out Juan wasn't coming to that party. So anything that picked on that really made it harder. I mean, I know we're beating a dead horse here, but it was something that back when they had that conversation, I felt like her eyes were like, so we've grown, but you're still not the guy
I couldn't agree more.
who's coming to the party with me.
I think you put into context maybe a little bit of what she was feeling entering the party and why she might not have been as receptive to Candice.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I'm already kind of like weirded out by being here. Juan didn't want to come, and I don't have my girl here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, because as we see, Charisse isn't going to have her back. Let's get into some predictions really quick. So I want to hear what you guys think about everything that's to come next week.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
May we start with the intelligent and pretty Nijeera?
I think there's a conversation that needs to be had, of course, between Ashley and Robyn. I think we'll get into that next week. I strongly believe so. That's the main thing that I'm seeing happening. Just a conversation between these two.
With just the two of them or with the entire group?
With just the two of them.
I hope Robyn don't touch her. It would be lights out for Ashley.
Nicely put.
My predictions are going to be that we saw a slight Karen really being open to Candice. I think it's because Karen knows her numbers are very low. So I think that relationship will grow. Maybe Monique will say, me and my new friend Candice are going. You met her at the party. Do you want to come join us? Yeah. So I think we're going to see Karen, because at this point Karen's angered with Robyn, angered with Giselle. So I think Karen is going to develop something with Candice. May work, may not. We'll see. And the other thing is, I noticed that Giselle, gosh, we need more of Giselle in this episode. I noticed Giselle said, in her nonchalant way, and Cal called her out for not being a good friend or whatever. It was cute. But she said that, why would I go to Chris's party or rather than go live my best life in the Hamptons? Why do I feel like that's gonna come up later on? Like, oh, Giselle, you weren't a friend. I don't know. Maybe like Monique come after her. This was important for my husband. Do you think that will come back up?
You know, I don't know. I mean, she said she was going for business, so that can always be her excuse. You know what I'm saying? She was going for every hue. So maybe if it does come up, I'm sure she'll throw that.
It just didn't seem like it would be in the edit. Like, why did we need to know that Giselle had to make a pivotal non-decision decision to go live her life? Other than that, we may see later on in these episodes that someone took offense, that she wasn't there, and then she's gonna, of course, be like, "Excuse me, this is my life.
Yeah.
Every hue is the way." You know what I mean? So
Giselle is always unbothered when attacked. She's always unbothered, which is what I love about her. I absolutely loved it because it's like nothing can unravel her. Versus, Robyn, who to me reminds me of Candy in the sense that she has very emotional responses to a lot of these situations,
which you totally can't hate. It's hard to watch, but yeah.
And I'm predicting an emotional reaction next week because I don't know if you guys saw this on the Bravo TV site, but there's a preview of the brunch where Giselle talks about her new book. And she's actually trying to bring some of the women back together, and she tries to mediate a conversation with Robyn and Ashley, and it goes horribly wrong. So I'm predicting that's going to be next week.
Can I predict that as we do this show, we come up with new segments? And I know we're going to, but we got to do a segment where we come up with crazy scenarios, and then we all write, or however we do it, how Giselle would react. Because I feel like I know Giselle so well. Because I'm thinking about that fight I just alluded to. What if it was something where Giselle invited all the women to the party, and then Monique came with a bitter attitude? You didn't come to my thing, and Giselle would have just been like, sorry, I couldn't come. See, they are the ones who pick at Giselle. Okay, I just can't stop.
You really think so?
I really know so.
I think, this is what I think. I think Giselle taunts Karen. Because I think she does, because she knows her, and I feel like they're going to have a conversation from the previews that I did see. They're going to have a conversation next week. And it looks like Giselle does apologize for the hashtags. And, so we'll see how that plays out. But I still am convinced that this Karen and the tax situation, I feel like that's going to keep going.
Throughout the whole season.
Yeah.
And then the reunion's going to come in.
And I also predict that we're going to find out a lot more about Ashley and her mom and this whole...
Maybe the guy's going to come on the show. I'm hoping.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll see him.
Or come to this show.
I just have a oh, yeah, absolutely.
An exclusive. The exclusives aren't on the Bravo channel. They're right here. Oh, my gosh.
I have this shadow figure in my head of him. I'd like to see what he looks like.
Oh, no.
Well, that's it for our predictions, and that's it for this show. Listen, you guys, we will be checking your comments on YouTube and on iTunes.
Only if they're nice, though.
No, we're going to check all
checking all of them.
Are we?
Don't be trolling us either. Don't do that.
You gotta tweet and delete, baby.
I'm your boy, DJ Richie Skye. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ Richie Skye. Where can they find you guys?
They can find me. Hey, I'm the highly rhythmic Ronnie Jr. It's gonna be randomly RJ, sitting next to this wonderfully intelligent
And I'm Nijeera Manal. You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at nijeera.manal.
Boom, there you go. You guys make sure to rate, comment, share, and keep the conversation going. We will see you guys next week.
Rate, comment, share, and shade.
Boom.
See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.